Welcome back, everyone, and it was only a matter of time, so let's dive right in. FBI investigating Antifa for plotting to buy guns from cartel for armed rebellion. The FBI is investigating anti-fascist activists. Please do not call them that. They are thugs. For an alleged plot to buy guns from a Mexican cartel in order to stage an armed rebellion at the southern border, according to an unclassified document obtained by the Chicago Tribune. The FBI document, dated December of 2018, warns of militant Antifa activists planning to disrupt security operations at the U.S.-Mexico border. The group allegedly planned to buy guns from a Mexican cartel associate known as Cobra Commander in order to stage an armed rebellion at the border. The source who provided it to the San Diego Tribune asked the outlet not to publish the six-page document because the investigation is ongoing, and the outlet cited two additional law enforcement officials who confirmed the news. The FBI has warned dozens of law enforcement agencies in both Mexico and the United States of the alleged plot. Two of the men named in the report told the San Diego Tribune the allegations are absurd. Bear with me, my allergies are flaring again. It doesn't make sense that someone from the U.S. would purchase guns in Mexico. Ivan Ribeling, the man known as Cobra Commander, told the outlet, and the Hondurans certainly didn't bring money to buy guns. It doesn't make any sense. In fact, it's extremely absurd to say the Hondurans wanted to attack the U.S. at the border. The FBI sent the report marked priority to agencies including the Department of Homeland Security, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the CIA, and the National Security Administration. Antifa is known for using violent means, including in protests against peaceful conservative speakers, free speech advocates, and even journalists. The well-documented instances of violence include a protester repeatedly punching a man in the face, throwing water bottles and launching fireworks at police officers, and starting fires on college campuses with Molotov cocktails. The Daily Caller News Foundation's reporting led to the arrest of an Antifa leader who stands accused of accosting and assaulting two Marines in Philadelphia. Former President Joe Biden launched his campaign for president by praising the group. He reported to a group of protesters who gathered in Charlottesville, Virginia, and violently confronted white nationalists as a courageous group of Americans. This is something, honestly, that we've known for some time. The supposed anti-fascists are quite literally using a page out of Adolf Hitler's playbook. They call themselves anti-fascist while using fascist tactics. You see, an anti-fascist would not resort to violence to suppress speech. If you look at the instances where they've gotten violent, it's been because a private group at UC Berkeley invited Ben Shapiro to speak to them. This was not Ben coming to UCB and speaking in the quad. This was a private group and a meeting that was invitation only, and these supposed anti-fascists rioted, assaulted people, destroyed public property because a group they were not a member of invited someone they hate to a meeting they were not allowed to attend. They have blocked streets. I've said this before. If there is a fire truck, a police car, or an ambulance blocked by protesters, they will be arrested, and you'll hear cries on MSNBC as Maddow or Joe lament the police brutality, or on CNN as Stelter or Acosta or anyone else decries the horrible racism and sexism directed at a group of peaceful protesters. They won't ever tell you that the policeman was responding to a domestic violence call, or the firefighters were headed to an active fire, or the ambulance had a victim in it that had to get to the hospital as fast as humanly possible. No, they focus on the fact that these supposed protesters and their completely fake right to block everyone and anyone from going anywhere until they get their way. There has been video posted on, I believe, Steven Crowder, but it may have been another person, where someone infiltrates an Antifa unit. They're frisked when they get there. Weapons are removed from them, and of course the weapon was a small baton about this big. It's about 9 to 12 inches. Not even that far, 6 to 9 inches. I've carried one when I worked for the police department, and about the diameter of a nickel, maybe a quarter, and it goes on a key ring. The other was a pocket knife. But the person who did it was carrying an AK-style pistol. And they talk about how they're going to start training with firearms and so on and so forth. Of course, the person accused of being the one going to provide weapons is going to call it outlandish and outrageous. But this is a group known for resorting to violence at the drop of a hat. Of course, they only do this in areas where they know the police will do nothing but maybe deploy megaphones with disperse now, or where they won't show up in time to help the people they are assaulting. And it's honestly very sad because the states that they're doing this in are the ones who claim to be tolerant and diverse, and we need to just get along, unless you're an evil, hateful conservative who happens to believe that free speech should be for everyone. And the Constitution saying arms means firearms, not muskets, until they decide muskets are bad too. Or that a private business owner has the right to deny service to anyone they wish to deny service to. They don't actually want freedom. They don't actually want equality. They don't actually want diversity. They want you to be free to obey them, tolerant of them controlling your life, and diverse in that you're one of the people who didn't want to obey us versus one of the people who did. And they're not going to be happy until they have their Orwellian state. They may get it in some states. California, of course, has Gavin Newsom, who signs bills to raise taxes and opposes bills to lower them, and then demands an investigation into why prices are high. Where state colleges like UC Berkeley do nothing when Antifa riots and attacks people, including someone who works for the college swinging a bicycle lock at people's heads, but let someone stand on a public area giving a speech about free speech and conservative values and they're arrested. Let someone write the word Trump in chalk on a sidewalk. You can get rid of that with a bottle of water, you know. And they have to cancel classes and open safe spaces for the students who've been traumatized. You can't make this crap up. We're facing what some are calling the Second Civil War. Now, thankfully, a good third of the liberal side of politics is all we're going to face in any rebellion. The other 2/3 are either too cowardly to openly rebel, or they're just too old. We're going to be facing a bunch of weirdos in leggings and tutus and tank tops that come down to barely under their nipples, carrying firearms they may train with for an hour or two. And we're going to be facing them from behind the U.S. military and all law enforcement. And they're going to realize that when they fire on our military and our law enforcement, we fire back. And that we fire back until they stop being a threat. We will only face them if they happen to come onto our property. And I guarantee, especially here in Texas, that would not fly. You come onto my property intending harm to me and mine, and you will be on the ground with your left arm behind your back scratching your right ear, and my left middle finger buried up to this knuckle in your clavicle notch as you scream as if I'm breaking your arm, when all I'm doing is touching a nerve ending that gives you a bit of discomfort. And you'll be that way until police arrive. You'll not be injured. You'll simply be made to be uncomfortable. And if you come on my property intending harm, you can scream and you can sue all you want. You're on private property intending harm, or at very least, without invitation and without leaving when told to. And thankfully, so far, the state of Texas still recognizes that private property owners have the right to defend their property. But I've talked about this long enough. I really do want to know what you think on this one. This one is an issue that needs to not be swept under the rug. We have a growing segment of the U.S. population that is now actively working for open and armed revolution against the duly elected government because they want to control everyone. We have people who truly want to be the pigs from Animal Farm. All Americans are equal, but we're more equal than you. Pay your taxes, peasant, or we will remove you from society. And thankfully, at least for me, I live in an area that will not take that. And we will happily kick them out of our new independent country. But unfortunately, there are a lot of Americans who can't say that and they won't be protected. So until then, like I said, let me know. Remember to keep it civil. We do not learn from argument, we learn from debate. As always, make sure to like, share, and comment on this video, as well as to activate notifications and subscribe so that you're the first to know of any new content as it is posted. Until next time, everyone, have a wonderful day.